Obinna wasn't just any man. He was the kind of man who ironed his socks. His shoes sparkled so bright that the sun would squint in jealousy. His scent was like fresh rain on red earth. Women smiled at him like butterflies to flowers. But Obinna wanted more than beauty. He wanted class. He used to say, "A man like me cannot marry a woman who walks like she's chasing groundnuts." So he searched from weddings to church bazaars. Obinna looked for a woman who would match his glow like rice matches stew. But each time he thought he had found her, something would fall short. Her walk, her talk, or her laugh that sounded like a tired generator. One Sunday afternoon, at a family's friend's child dedication, he saw her, Chika. Chika was not just beautiful. She wore a sunlight dress in lace. Her skin glowed like roasted groundnuts in the morning sun. Her eyelashes were so long that they could sweep dust from her cheek, and her smile could melt the anger of an angry lion. Obinna stood still. His legs forgot how to move. His heart began to beat like a talking drum. Chika didn't notice him at first, but when their eyes met, the world paused, and even the baby being dedicated stopped crying. Obinna walked up to her like a man approaching royalty. He removed his sunglasses and said in his smoothest voice, "Hello, you dropped something." "My heart." Chika burst into laughter that made birds flap their wings in confusion. From that moment, they became inseparable. Obinna took her to restaurants in town, dressed her in fine Ankara and lace, bought her a gold earring that danced on her ears. 3 months later, they got married. Their wedding shook the city from roof to roof. Palm wine flowed like river. Nigeria jollof rice finished even before the elders got their share. And the DJ played until his generator collapsed. People still talked about that wedding. Everything was perfect. The young girls admired Chika's grace. The men wanted Obinna's swag. Everywhere they went, head turned. Instagram nearly broke when they posted their honeymoon pictures. Every Sunday, they walked to church like models on a runway. They were the city's favorite couple. But life is like a rain. It doesn't fall on one roof alone. Because when Chika got pregnant, everything began to change. Pregnancy came like a royal visitor with gifts and trouble. At first, Obinna was overjoyed. He danced around the compound like a goat that escaped market day. "I will soon be called Papa," he shouted. He told everyone, from the Okada man to the chief's wife. Chika smiled, but inside she was scared. Her body started to change. Her once flat tummy grew like a calabash filled with yam porridge. Her feet swelled like a bread soaked in water. Even her glow, that glow that made people stare, started fading like old paint on a village wall. She tried to keep up. She tried to wear makeup and tie her gele neatly, but her strength ran away like a thief in the night. Months later, under the watchful stars and loud wails of midwives, baby Zuru entered the world with a cry strong enough to chase away ancestral spirits. Chika held her daughter and smiled through her tears. "My joy, my Zuri." Her body felt like it has fought 10 wars. Her once flat tummy now folded like a puff-puff dough. But still, she smiled because Zuri was her everything, a tiny miracle who cried like thunder but brought peace like rainfall. Obinna was proud for a moment. He posted pictures online, wrote sweet captions like, "My queen gave me a princess," Welcome, baby Zuri. Motherhood was not easy. Baby Zuri cried all night. Chika never slept. She no longer had time for foundation, lashes or perfume. Her perfume was now breast milk. Her dress of choice was wrapper because it was the only thing she could tie quickly when baby Zuri started crying like someone fighting spirits. Every hour the baby cried. When she wasn't crying, she was feeding. When she wasn't feeding, she was peeing on someone. Obinna tried to help at first. He would carry baby Zuri like he was holding a bag of hot pepper, then quickly hand her back. Ah, Chika, this girl is very heavy, he would say. I think her crying is spiritual. Let me go and call Mama Ejima. Chika would wake up at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4:30 a.m., sometimes no sleep at all, rocking a baby that wouldn't sleep, washing clothes, and still trying to cook for a husband who didn't notice her fading glow. Obinna, who was once the sweet talker, his words were now like razor. Why do you tie wrapper every day like Mama Nkechi from the village? Your stomach is not like a sack of gari. Look at your hair like forest paths. But Chika didn't answer. She only wished baby Zuru would get to 4 months quickly so that she could go back to work and put her in a daycare. Because who had time for makeup or fashion when a baby's cry would start like a mosquito and rise like a police siren? Later that day, Chika stepped out to buy some things and went back home before baby Zuru would wake up. Soon, word about Chika's new look spread like wildfire. Have you seen Obinna's wife? Ah, she now ties wrapper like a tired fish seller. Obinna must be regretting. Even the market women noticed. Chika used to buy red lipstick here every week. One seller said, now she just buys diaper and goes home. Back at home, Obinna was no better. He now walked ahead of her after church service. He no longer calls her my queen. One Monday morning, Obinna, still proud as ever, sprayed his perfume thrice, front, back, and then one last puff in the air to walk through like a royalty. He wore his navy blue suit, the one that made him look like a commissioner, and checked himself in the mirror. Chika, in her usual wrapper and tired eyes, carried baby Zuru in one arm and folded laundry with the other. But she still looked at Obinna and whispered, good luck at work, my husband. Obinna nodded and adjusted his tie. He was still upset that his wife no longer dressed like a magazine cover. When he got to work, inside the company boardroom, the air was tense. The HR sat with files stacked like a tower of bad news. One by one, people were called in. When it got to Obinna's turn, he walked in confidently, his shoes still clicking like ambition. Then he heard it. We are sorry, Mr. Obinna, but your role has been dissolved. You have been let go. Obinna's ears buzzed. He blinked once, twice. Let me go? Me? The best dressed in this building. The man with the sharpest presentation slides. They handed him a white envelope. His salary. His goodbye. His pride crushed into paper. He left the office like a goat chased from harvest. When he got home, Chika opened the door, balancing baby Zuru on her hip. Obinna didn't speak. He just handed her the envelope and sat on the floor, like power had been cut off from his body. Chika opened it and read. She looked at Obinna. They gently sat beside him and said, It is okay, Obinna. I will resume work next week. You can stay at home with Zuri for now. He looked at baby Zuri, small, innocent, and already asleep. The first morning of Obinna's new life began with a slap. Chika had already dressed for work, her hair neatly packed. She wore the same office dress she used to wear before pregnancy. It fits again, but not perfectly. Obinna stood in the corner of the room. In his arm was baby Zuru, crying. Not the regular baby cry. This one was like alarm mixed with siren. The kind of cry that makes your brain shake. Her food is in the green flask, Chika said as she grabbed her bag. Diapers are in the second drawer. If she starts biting her fingers, she is hungry. And if she sleeps, use that time to... I am not a child, Chika, Obinna snapped. It is just a baby, not a construction site. Chika gave him a look, then kissed Zuri's forehead and left. The moment the door shut, the real wahala began. Baby Zuri stared at Obinna for 2 seconds, then opened her mouth like a trumpet and screamed. Obinna panicked. Shh, he whispered, bouncing her like a faulty car. Do you want food? Porridge? Milk? Zuri's cry grew louder like thunder rolling across a tin roof. Obinna ran to the kitchen, nearly tripping over a bucket. He opened the green flask. The milk was warm, but Zuri rejected the bottle like a cursed item. She cried harder. Obinna tried dancing, singing, even lying on the floor with her. Nothing worked. Then came the diaper drama. He opened it and stepped back. Ah, he shouted. Is this what mothers have been handling? The smell hit him like a slap from an angry ancestors. He tied wrapper to cover himself and avoid the splash as he changed her. But he made a mistake by putting the wrong side of the diaper up, and before he could fix it, Zuri pissed straight in his shirt. He looked at the wall clock, 10 a.m. Only 2 hours had passed. The rest of the day was just blur. Feeding, crying, rocking, no rest, no sleep. By the time Chika returned from work at 6 p.m., Obinna was lying on the floor, wearing wrapper, and his eyes red. How was your day, Daddy Zuri? Obinna didn't answer. She sat beside him and carried Zuri. By day 2, Obinna had already lost his voice. He woke up with one socks on, wrapper halfway across his chest, and baby Zuri sleeping on his stomach like she owned the house. He looked around the living room, feeding bottles scattered like empty sachet water, and Zuri diaper from midnight still sitting like a small landmine on the table. His once tidy house now looked like a nursery school during break time. He stood up, tied the wrapper tighter, like it was a bulletproof, and began the day. But just as he stepped out to throw the trash, he heard her, the town crier of their compound, Mama Nneka. She was sitting on a plastic chair, holding her Bible in one hand and a bowl of groundnuts in the other, ready to judge the world before 9 a.m. Ewo, she shouted, what am I seeing with my 2 eyes? Is this not Obinna, the suit wearer? Ah, why are you tying wrapper like a village widow? Where is your trouser, Oga? Obinna sighed. He wanted to vanish, but he stayed polite. Good morning, Mama Nneka. Good morning, Ke. Is that how you people greet now? You even tied the wrapper well. Soon you will start carrying baby on your back and going to the market. The other neighbors started to peep through windows. One even took a picture. Obinna's heart boiled like yam on high heat, but he forced a laugh. It is just for now. Mama Nneka's voice dropped to a gossiping whisper. I said it. That's your fine wife. Her class will not last. She has turned you into houseboy, and she's going to work, and you are here babysitting. Me, I cannot let my daughter do that to her husband. Lie, lie. Obinna's chest tightened. A part of him wondered if people were right. Was he weak? Had he lost his manhood? He walked back inside quickly and locked the door. Inside, baby Zuri had woken up again, crying with that "I want everything" tone. Obinna rushed to her, his heart still burning from Mama Nneka's poison. He fed her, she threw up. He changed her, she pulled again. And through it all, one thought repeated in his head. So this is what Chika endured every single day, while I was outside criticizing her like a judge in a fashion show. When Chika returned from work and saw the sadness in his eyes, she asked gently, "What happened?" Obinna hesitated. Then he looked at her and whispered, "How did you do this without warning Mad?" Chika laughed softly, the kind of laugh that carried pain and pride. "Because I had no choice. You were working, and someone had to hold the home together." By day 3, Obinna was sure he had become a full-time staff in the school of suffering, and baby Zoe was his headmistress. His arms were sore, his eyes looked like two overripe tomatoes, and his waist had begun making noises like an old generator whenever he bent down. But today he had a plan. He was going to surprise Chika by cooking dinner. Real dinner, not noodles or bread and tea. So he placed baby Zuriel in her rocker, tied his now favorite wrapper tight, and marched to the kitchen like a man on mission. The meal, beans, because in his mind, how hard could beans be? Just boil, add oil, onions and spices, simple. As he sliced onions with one hand and stirred with the other, he kept turning his head to check if Zuri was okay. At first, she was calm, playing with her tiny fingers and humming baby sounds. Then, just as Obinna added palm oil to the pot, Zuru screamed like a trumpet of Judgment Day. He dropped the spoon and ran to her, carrying her gently. "Shh, it's okay," he whispered, bouncing her up and down. By the time he returned to the kitchen, the air had changed, thick smoke dancing from the pot like masquerade at a village festival. The beans had already burned badly. He opened the lid and the smell hit him like a slap from the gods. The beans had become one with the pot. The bottom was blacker than that of Mama Nneka's gossip. "Ah, Chika will kill me today." He opened the window, switched on fan, sprayed air freshener like it was holy water. But it was too late. When Chika came back, she paused at the door. What happened here? Obinna looked at her defeated. His wrapper was stained with baby spit, his shirt wet with sweat. His face was covered with white flour from where he didn't even know. I tried to cook beans, but baby Zuri, she cried and vomited and pulled at the same time. That night, they ordered suya and bread, and for the first time in a while, they laughed together. That night, after the burnt beans saga, Obinna could not sleep, not because baby Zuri was crying. In fact, she was fast asleep, breathing softly like a tiny kitten. It was Obinna's heart that was loud. Each beat carried a memory of Chika pacing the room at 2 a.m., of the time she wanted to rest but cook for him, of him shouting, "Is that how you look?" He heard her but didn't listen. The next morning, Obinna didn't wait for Chika to ask. He bathed Zuru, changed her diaper, swept the living room, and boiled water for pap. When Chika stepped out of the room, dressed for work, she froze. She looked around, then looked at him. "What have you done with my husband?" she teased. Obinna took a deep breath and held her hands. "Chika, I don't think I respected you while you were taking care of baby Zuru. Please forgive me." Chika tried to speak, but her voice cracked. She held his hands and embraced him, not like husband and wife, but like two weary souls who finally understood each other's pain. Just then, Obinna's phone rang. "Hello?" A deep male voice replied. "Mr. Obinna, this is from your former office. Can you come in tomorrow for a conversation? We would like to discuss bringing you back." Obinna blinked. "Come again. We are restructuring. Your name came up and you are a valuable asset." As he ended the call, he looked at Chika. "They want me back at the office." Chika smiled. The next day, Obinna wore his suit and his shiny shoes again. He didn't walk into the office like a king returning to his throne. He walked in like a man who once lost his crown and finally understood why it weighs so much. The HR manager, Mr. Ajayi, greeted him with a firm handshake. "Welcome back, Obinna. We heard you have matured." Obinna chuckled. If maturity means changing diapers and learning how to back a baby with wrapper, then yes, sir, I have matured. The room burst into laughter. Work resumed, but this time, Obinna came home early. He helped Chika bathe Zuri. He even bought new wrapper and wore it proudly every Saturday, not as punishment, but as badge of honor. One evening, Obinna sat on the balcony watching Chika braid baby Zuri's hair. He noticed how her shoulder had begun to straighten again. Then, as if remembering something, Obinna reached into his briefcase and brought out a brown envelope. "What is this?" Chika asked. Obinna gave it to her. "For your skincare business. You always wanted to start one. It's time." Chika stared at him. "You remembered." "I didn't forget. I was waiting for the right moment." That night, Amaka didn't sleep in her wrapper. She wore a soft satin nightgown that hugged her curves. And when Obinna saw her, he gasped like a teenager seeing his crush for the first time. "Now wow," he whispered, "you want to kill person." Chika smiled. "Can't a woman feel beautiful again?" Obinna swallowed. "You are too beautiful." But he raised one hand like someone swearing an oath. "Please, I am not ready for baby number 2. Thank you for watching this story to the end. If you enjoyed this story, please share your thoughts in the comments below. Also like and subscribe to this channel for more interesting stories.